This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16, I'm going to show a couple of articles which proves that America's allies, America's NATO allies, are getting upset, frustrated with America's foreign policy and America's economic self-interest. Okay? So let's start with this article right here, and I'm going to jump to different articles and bring precepts out, and Lord willing, this less edifying because, the Lord is setting it up where America's allies, NATO, okay, is going to turn on America. The beast shall hate the whore. Okay, the beast represents NATO. The beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. If you go to the 10 horns, which I read in Revelation 17, the 10 horns represent the common market or the European Economic Community. Right, that's what it was known, all right, before it got changed to the European Union. All right, it was known as the European Economic Community, EEC, established in 1958. To the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. All right, and Thwadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for sending up our apostles and elders to teach us this, okay? Because you're only going to get this at Great Millstone, all right? The breakdown of these scriptures, okay? And so these are the 10 horns: Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain, and Portugal, England, and Ireland, and West Germany. All right. And the 10 horns, okay, they're part of NATO, all right, which is the beast. So let's get it in, because it's exciting stuff, man. We're seeing prophecy moving. So European NATO members should reduce reliance on the U.S. Macron, okay? French President Emmanuel Macron has said European NATO members should become more autonomous and less dependent on the U.S.-led alliance regarding their own security. He made the remarks late Wednesday as he spoke to reporters in Paris after returning from the summit in Amman, Jordan. Quote, "An alliance isn't something I should depend on. It's something that I should choose, something I work with," Macron stated. "We must rethink our strategic autonomy." Right. And why did he say that? Why did he say an alliance isn't something I should depend on? Because right now, okay, the European Union, such as France, they depend on America for certain resources because of the war in Ukraine, because of all the sanctions, and because, they're trying to they're trying to remove themselves from relying on Russia when it comes to natural gas, certain resources, okay, and technology, which he's going to say. Macron identified technology and defense capabilities as areas in which European nations should seek to reduce their dependence on the alliance, and the U.S. in particular. All right, so now let's go into this article right here, because he said defense, right? Europe accuses U.S. of profiting from war, right? Right now, America is making money from these wars, okay? all these spending bills, all right, Lockheed and Martin, all right, General Dynamics, okay, Raytheon, their weapons are being used, all right, in the Ukraine war, all right, which is hurting Europe's defense contractors. Okay, and then on top of that, let's read this article. It says 9 months after invading Ukraine, Vladimir Putin is beginning to fracture the West. Top European officials are furious with Joe Biden's administration and now accuse the Americans of making a fortune from the war while EU countries suffer. The fact is, if you look at it soberly, the country that is most profiting from the war is the US because they are selling more gas and at higher prices, and because they are selling more weapons, right? Okay, the gas it costs more for Europe to get gas from America than it does Russia, and so the Europeans are paying more to get gas from the U.S. And in this article, it explains it. I'll read it. It says the explosive comments backed in public and private by officials, diplomats, and ministers elsewhere follow mounting anger in Europe over American subsidies. Right, subsidies is a dirty word. All right, it's a $100 word, which means taxpayer, American tax dollars. Okay, are being used to offset the cost. Okay, that threaten to wreck European industry. And when I'm saying offset the cost for who? America and their company. Okay? The Kremlin is likely to welcome the poisoning of the atmosphere among Western allies. Quote, "We are really at a historic juncture," the senior EU official said, arguing that the double hit of trade disruption from U.S. subsidies and high energy prices risks turning public opinion against both the war effort and the transatlantic alliance. Woo! That's powerful right there. Okay? Because the transatlantic alliance, that's NATO. And NATO was set up to go against Russia. All right, but because of America's self-interest, America's, reckless foreign policy, it's hurting Europe. Okay? And Europe is paying the piper. And they're suffering. And boy, is it cold right now over there in Europe. Another top official, the EU's chief diplomat, Joseph Borrell, called on Washington to respond to European concerns. Quote, "Americans, our friends, take decisions which have an economic impact on us," he said in the interview with Politico. The U.S. rejected Europe's complaint. Quote, "The rise in gas prices in Europe is caused by Putin's invasion of Ukraine and Putin's energy war against Europe, period," a spokesperson for Biden's National Security Council said. Exports of liquefied natural gas from the U.S. to Europe increased dramatically and enabled Europe to diversify away from Russia. Exports, that's the word. This is what's costing the European Union because of the exports of liquefied natural gas from the U.S. to Europe. Increased dramatically and enabled Europe to diversify away from Russia, the NSC spokesman said. The biggest point of tension in recent weeks has been Biden's green subsidies and taxes that Brussels says unfairly tilt trade away from the EU and threaten to destroy European industry. Despite formal objections from Europe, Washington has so far shown no sign of backing down. All right, so this is causing a big friction. All right, and America's allies, NATO allies, are getting upset because of this. All right. At the same time, disruption caused by Putin's invasion of Ukraine is tipping European economies to recession, with inflation rocketing and devastating squeeze on energy supplies, threatening blackouts and rationing this winter. Right. And they're feeling it, man. As they attempt to reduce their reliance on Russian energy, EU countries are turning to gas from the U.S. instead. But the price Europeans pay is almost 4 times as high as the same fuel cost in America. All right? So that's why they're upset, man. They're paying more. Okay? Because not only do they have to transport it from America to Europe, and that costs money, but because of American subsidies, all right, that are benefiting U.S. interests and not the European Union. Then there's the likely surge in orders for American-made military kit as European armies run short after sending weapons to Ukraine. Right, Lockheed, okay, and Martin, Raytheon. You see that? So let's get a scripture. All right. This is the book of Matthew, because hey, you're clearly saying a kingdom divided. You're seeing Satan's house divided. All right, and Yahushua, said this. Now, of course, if you read this chapter in context, Yahushua is saying this to the Pharisees because they called Yahushua Beelzebub. All right, even though Yahushua literally healed, okay, an Israelite, okay, because it was possessed with a devil. I'll read it. And the Pharisees got salty. They got jealous because they, why would they get jealous? Because they will lose their congregation, and the people will follow Yahushua because of the miracles that he did. Matthew 12 and 22. And you got to believe that Yahushua did miracles, okay? And Yahushua is going to do more miracles in our lifetime. All right, we are the final generation. You're going to see brothers healing other brothers. You're going to see brothers with spiritual powers. It's exciting, man. We're in the last days, man. It's like if going on a tangent, but it's exciting, okay, to see prophecy moving at the speed it's moving. And this is all done by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Matthew 12 and 22. Then was brought unto him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. Now that's a miracle, okay? 23. And all the people were amazed and said, is not this the son of David? Right, because they knew the prophecies, okay? They knew that the Messiah is going to come out of the lineage of David, the loins of David, the seed of David. 24. But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, this fellow does not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils. So they got salty. They slandered the Lord. They slandered Yahushai. Okay? And the same thing that's going on now with our people, man. That our people, okay, slander each other. All right? They talk shit about each other. Okay? 25. Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to a desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Right. And that happened to us. Okay, because look at the condition of our people, the bulk of our people, the majority of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you're divided. You're at each other's neck. You talk shit about each other. Okay, even amongst your own family. That's where the most shit talking comes from. Your own family members. Okay? And that's how you know we're destroyed as a nation. Okay? And Yahushua is telling these Pharisees, like, you're dividing, okay, the kingdom by saying these outlandish things. Okay? And every city, the house divided against itself shall not stand. 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Right. Okay? And as you can see, you can use this now. All right? Hey, these Edomites are divided. Okay? Just from these articles that I brought out, which is exciting because this is the proof that the Lord is bringing down their kingdom. All right? So let's go to another article. Let's go to so we went into the war aspect, okay? That Macron said, right? He said defense, okay? And you clearly see that America is capitalizing, okay, with this whole Ukraine situation, and Europe is not eating, okay? Europe is suffering because of it. So now let's go to the technology. So are U.S. allies falling out of alignment on China? All right. Biden administration trumpets its efforts to build consensus on China policy through consultation. Recent legislation challenged that, right? Because he passed certain bills, all right, that were counterproductive to Europe. And we're going to go into it. Well, first we'll read this. U.S. President Joe Biden came to office promising that his administration would begin reforming the habits of cooperation and rebuilding the muscle of democratic alliances that have atrophied over the past few years of neglect and, I would argue, abuse. Biden was referring to the 4 years of President Donald Trump, who dispatched allies as free riders and targeting them with sanctions. Right. And those sanctions, what they're talking about are the tariffs, which majority of them are still active. Biden has yet to pull them back. Okay? And in this article, he's even added more hell onto Europe with certain laws that were passed. I'll just get to the point. Yes, it's precisely in this area of consultation and coordination that takes into account allies' concern that the Biden administration has been taking criticism. In particular, allies have raised questions about U.S. industrial policy, including subsidies. Here we go again, tax dollars, that they argue unfairly privilege U.S. companies and export controls, which risk jeopardizing allies' economic interests. So now let's get it in. All right, this is why the beast is going to hate the whore, man. All right, NATO allies are getting screwed. All right, from America's self-interest, okay, selfishness, okay. At issue are two massive pieces of legislation seen as major domestic accomplishments in the United States. The CHIPS and Science Act, which provides $280 billion in funding to boost U.S. competitiveness in the semiconductor industry. All right, that's the technology that Macron was talking about. And the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, which that shit is a fucking oxymoron. That's a joke. Inflation Reduction Act. Meanwhile, the Senate just passed a 1.66 trillion or 1.7 trillion spending bill, okay, which is going to give more money to Ukraine and more money to defense contractors, okay? So that's going to cause inflation for America. That's a fucking joke. Anyway, continuing on. Which offers billions of dollars in subsidies to the U.S. clean energy industry. Right, again, tax dollars, okay? This is not a free market for you fucking idiots out there. America's free market. No, it's not, man, okay? This is a corporate government partnership. This is fascism, okay? Continuing on. It says, notably electric vehicles. The issue to many U.S. allied governments is that these acts incorporate protectionist tendencies, unfairly privileging U.S. firms over foreign counterparts. Here's the point. Whether those competitors are located in China, Europe, there's the key, there's the point, South Korea and elsewhere. All right, so you can read this, but let's go to what France said. France expressed similar concerns about the legislation potentially hurting European firms working on clean energy and EVs. During a state visit to Washington on December, French President Emmanuel Macron carried a dire warning that the Biden administration was making choices that would fragment the West because they create such differences between the United States of America and Europe, right? Okay? Because America's being selfish with their own self-interests, okay? With these subsidies, which is bigging up the U.S. companies and hurting hurting European companies that are involved in clean energy and EVs, okay? The Biden administration has also faced pushback on its attempts to restrict technology exports to China by any firm, America or not, right? So the Biden administration passed laws that restricted their own allies from exporting technology to China, okay? That uses U.S. technology, right? So any technology that uses U.S. technology cannot be exported to China. So that puts a hit on Europe, okay? Stringent new export controls rolled out in October would deny China access to technology used not only in cutting-edge semiconductors, but even older models. The goal is to curb China's attempt to catch up and eventually become a global leader in the crucial industry. All right, so that's why America is doing that for their own self-interest, because they don't want China to advance its technology. All right, first of all, when it comes to warfare, Russia has the technology to defeat America, and that's all that matters, okay? This is all okay. Uh, uh, BS. This is all who gives a damn. Okay. Here's another one. In the Netherlands, the ASML is a key player in the global semiconductor market as it manufactures the machines used to make advanced chips. The Biden administration has been pressuring the Dutch government to get ASML to fall in the line with its export restrictions, leading the Netherlands foreign trade minister to assert that the Netherlands would not copy the American measures one to one. All right, so Netherlands are bucking up, okay, which is a NATO ally. All right. So the common denominator from all these examples is a sense on allies' parts that their concerns are not being taken on board, except as an afterthought. Amid the difficult negotiations at home on the CHIPS Act and the IRA, allies and partners were not consulted, resulting in largely unintended negative consequences for these countries. As Biden put it in his press conference with Macron, when I wrote the legislation, I never intended to exclude folks who were cooperating with us. Bullshit. Okay? That's America that hammered the whole earth. Okay, attitude he was more stout than his fellows. That arrogancy, that pride. Okay? They knew fully well. Let me get another scripture. All right, let's get the book of Daniel. All right? Because that's that stout, more stout than his fellows. All right? America. Babylon the Great. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others. This is talking about the Roman Empire. Exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, right? Because the Roman Empire, all right, was the civilization that used the most iron in everything, okay? In all their industries, iron was used the most. And his nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet, right? And the Roman Empire, okay, was able to subdue, okay, all these other nations to a point that they were vassal states. All right, they were subjected to the Roman policies, just like America today with everything that's going on. Okay, that's why America is passing, okay, these policies, these laws, and it affects everybody, okay, one way or another. 20. And of the 10 horns there were, okay, so from the Roman Empire are these 10 horns, which prove that, this is the beast system. This is Rome all over again, Rome 2.0, which America is the head of it, okay? Daniel chapter 7, verse 20. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, that fourth beast, all right, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, who look was more stout than his fellows, right? And that horn, okay, that took down the other 3, okay, is talking about America, Babylon the Great. Because before whom 3 fell, right? And if you go into history, it's talking about America going to war against Great Britain, defeated Great Britain, the Revolutionary War. You have America going to war with Spain, defeated Spain, the Spanish-American War. Then you have America going to war with France, the Quasi-Wars. Okay, you can look this up. Okay? And America, since it took down all these nations, and yes, they had their partnership, America still had that pride and arrogancy towards these other nations, okay, towards their allies. And that's why they're doing all this wild stuff. And that's why Biden, he knows what he was doing, okay? Or those that wrote the bill knew they was doing. Because, again, I don't know. Biden, he's questionable. Because the shit that he does, you don't even know. I don't even think he knows he's president, okay? He's just reading teleprompters. And he can't even read them well, all right? But the point is, what America's actions, that's stout than his fellows, what America's doing is pissing off its allies, okay? So let's get to this one. All right, because this is from the Council on Foreign Relations. This is from their website. 5 foreign policy stories to watch in 2023. And Lord willing, it's less edifying. All right, to the seer elect, okay, the seer Akim, Aquat, the elect, all right, who are seeing the times that we're in. We're getting close, man. As 2022 comes to a close, here are 5 foreign policy news stories to follow in the coming year, right? So you got the war in Ukraine, you got the axis of the agreed, right? This is talking about Russia and China, okay, in America, which Russia and China are doing right now live fire naval exercises in the waters near Japan, okay? While the average American is about to celebrate a pagan holiday, you know? And our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, okay? You're about to celebrate this pagan holiday, all right? You're not paying attention, like, all right? Repent, all right? The Lord's against Christmas, all right? So let's go back. Then we have tensions over Taiwan. Watch that region. Turmoil in Iran. This is big. I like seeing that, okay? And then we have the Biden administration, America's first economic policy. This is on the Council on Foreign Relations, okay? Even they had to write this. So let's read this, okay? When 2022 started, geopolitical divisions buffeted the West. European leaders dismissed the Biden administration's warning that Russia was preparing to invade Ukraine, and experts worried that a Russia attack limited to the Donbass might split the transatlantic alliance. But Putin ordered a large-scale invasion that united the West in opposition. And the Europeans were watching that region, okay, because that conflict in Ukraine has been going on since 2014, especially in on Donbass, all right? So I don't know what America's talking about that European leaders dismissed the Biden administration warnings, okay? They were watching that too. Despite predictions that Western solidarity would quickly crumble, it held up. But as 2022 ended, a new dividing line emerged between the United States and its closest allies: economic policy, right? And that's what's going to make the bees hate the whore, because money, okay? Because these Edomites, when their money gets fucked up, that's when they go crazy. Contrary to the hopes of the most U.S. trading partners, President Biden left many of Donald Trump's tariffs in place. See? So nothing changed. Okay? Basically, Trump just handed the ball to Biden and said, continue going. All right? And nothing changed, man. What changed in terms of foreign policy and economic policy? Nothing. Okay? And that's how you know that blue and red thing, it's delusional, man. When it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to economic policy, the blue and red are in unison. Now, when it comes to domestic, like cultural stuff, then yeah, there's differences, all right? That's why when this economy crashes, that's when it's going to get real nasty. And then they're going to blame each other because they got to point the finger to each other. Because they're not going to blame themselves. They're going to be like, no, blue team was the problem. No, red team was the problem. All right? And then they're going to, you idiot Americans are going to fight each other to the death because you're idiots. You're sheeple, and sheep always go to the slaughterhouse. Continuing on. Contrary to the hopes of most U.S. trading partners, President Biden left many of Donald Trump's tariffs in place. In 2022, the U.S. Congress passed and Biden signed into law the Inflation Reduction Act, that's a joke, and the CHIPS and Science Act. They subsidized U.S. industries and discriminated against producers outside of North America. French President Emmanuel Macron warned that the two laws might fragment the West. Many other U.S. allies were equally scathing and criticized the U.S. embrace of industrial policy. Biden admitted that the Inflation Reduction Act had glitches and spoke of making tweaks to the law. However, Congress isn't likely to revise its handiwork. And that's how you know it's about to get real in the motherfucking field, all right? Which is going to hurt Europe, okay? The Biden administration also banned the export of advanced semiconductor chips and equipment that use U.S. technology to China, forcing U.S. trade partners to choose between complying or losing critical export opportunities. The U.S. actions came as the war in Ukraine rocked the European economy. That prompted some leading European officials to complain that Washington was championing the Ukrainian cause, and only because the U.S. economy is profiting from fighting. Okay? That's from the Council on Foreign Relations website. It's exciting. We're here. Okay? Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? All right, and this proves that America is the hammer of the whole earth. All right, and it's through its policies, it is, okay, causing nothing but havoc. But that's going to be to its own demise, because what did the Lord say after? 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Right? Because of your pride, your pomp, your arrogancy, your stout mindset. That are found and are also caught because thou hast striven against the Lord. Right? And that's the main reason why the Lord has you, okay, set up to be has you Americans set up that your allies are going to be against you because of what you did against the Lord. Okay? Look what you pushed out. Democracy, false religion like plantation Christianity that has our people bugged out in the mind that they're going to participate again in Christmas garbage. They're thinking on, okay, baby Jesus, Caucasian Jesus, and Jesus is not his name. And then you have pseudo Hebrew Israelites that are calling on Jesus, which is madness. You said the Lord's chosen people are those gutter rats, those JJs over in our homeland. Okay. You push out LGBTQ lifestyle. You exploit our people, okay, with it. Okay? That's why our people are the face of that shit. Okay? Covetousness, murder, it's you. Okay? This is America. Babylon the Great. All right? You said the angels were little Caucasian babies with wings. Okay? So, yeah. Lord got something for your ass. Now let's go to, where is it at? Jeremiah 50:41. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation of many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. Right. And Russia's going to lead the charge, and your NATO allies are going to follow. All right. To drop nuclear bombs on America. 42. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. Everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. Let's get the cross references, because they got the cross references on this one. Okay? Who's the daughter of Babylon? Psalm 137:8. O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Okay? And who's the daughter of Babylon? Psalm 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Right? The Lord didn't forget what you Edomites did to us when you were calling yourselves Edomites, you so-called white people. Okay? The Lord hasn't forgotten. And that's how we could correlate that you are the daughter of Babylon. You are, okay, you Edomites here in America, okay, you're dwelling in Babylon the Great, because this is where your judgment's at. You're the daughter of Babylon, okay? There's the correlation. So let's go back. All right. 43. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands wax feeble, anguish took hold of him, and pangs as a woman in travail. Right? Whoever the president is, okay? Whoever the president is. It may be Joe Biden, Creepy Joey. Could be Donald Trump. Could be DeSantis. Whoever they put as the president, okay, he's going to be scared to death when, okay, he's told, hey, the nukes are coming, America's done. Okay? While he's in his bunker, wherever the hell he's at. Okay? Let's bring this out. Nahum chapter 3, verse 4. Because of the multitudes of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that sell nations through her whoredoms, this is America, and families through her witchcrafts. And America is the biggest witch on the planet, okay, with its sorcery, pharmakia, okay, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, okay, what's the other fucking company? There's another company, all right, that's pushed out their concoctions as a witch, because America's the biggest witch walking the earth. 5. Behold, I'm against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame right. And this is the revealing. And that's why these nations are upset, they're mad, and they're going to pounce on this whore. So yeah, Lord one is less edifying. Again, the beast shall hate the whore. You clearly see, this is spicy stuff, and we're going. 2023, okay, is going to be exciting. Let's see what a slogan Apostle Har says for the 2023. Could it be 2023 year of hell? Well, but hey, it's going to be hellish for 2023. So Lord, when it says edify, I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Bukak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep enduring, keep fighting, keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostles and elders. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, to the few that do watch, keep studying when you pray, cover Shalom and Abad with Ball Shalom.